Yeah, well, the relationship between Mexico and Hollywood is non-existent. I mean, there happen to be some Mexican filmmakers now that are working in Hollywood, like myself or Guillermo del Toro or Alejandro González Iñárritu, the director for Amores Perros. But and uh, and it for us, I think I'm talking for them because we're very close, very good friends. I think that we see Hollywood as part of the journey. We don't see Hollywood as a destination. But I have to say that my most personal film I did in Hollywood. I consider A Little Princess my most personal film. Well, I guess there's the chances like everywhere else. I mean, being trying to make movies is not easy anywhere. But I think that if you want to be a director, you just become a director anywhere. And especially now with the new technologies and being able to shoot in video, being able to shoot with very little budget, I think there's no excuse nowadays not to make your movie. Last film, we set up to do a film about identity. In one hand is a movie about two teenagers seeking for their identity as adults, a woman seeking for her identity as a liberated woman, and an observation of a country, of a context, and in this case is a country that's Mexico, that in my opinion is a teenage country seeking for its identity as an adult country. That was the point of departure that we took to start shooting the movie. Not in Hollywood. In the States you can, in an independent system, but in Hollywood you wouldn't be able to do a film like this. Actually, the film has been a huge success in the United States, but it's been released unrated. That means that doesn't have a rating, because if we had a rating, it would be a rating that is equivalent of the porno films, and we didn't want to be in the same category. Not so much for the Catholic Church, but because of the bureaucrats in the government. The guy who does the rating, there's a commission that does the rating, and it's been the same guy who's been there for 25 years and is part of the government. So officially Mexico says that there's no censorship in Mexico, but there is, because the government is in charge of rating whichever film, radio or TV goes into Mexico. So that's censorship. And there's no really a legislation about rating. It's just the mood of this bureaucrat who decides which films are good for adults and which films are good for children. My company sued the government because of that, because they gave us a rating for over 18, and we disagree, because the idea for this film was to be seen by teenagers also. In terms of wave, I believe what Claude Chabrol said about when he was asked if he was part of the French New Wave, he said that there is no wave, there's only the ocean. And so I agree with that. Now, what is happening in Mexico? Mexico has always been, always, there have been amazing directors working in Mexico. Not that many that have a universal approach of cinema. So there's very good Mexican cinema that is very local, that doesn't travel that well. People like Guillermo or Alejandro, the amazing thing of them is that their film, even though it's very personal and very specific, is completely universal. So a film like Amores Perros is a film that maybe is very specific in the social context and the characters, but the themes in the film are very specific. It's what I believe also in Y Tu Mamá También. The film is very specific in terms of the color and a society, but the theme is very universal. And I think that one big disease that Latin American cinema in general, and Mexican cinema in specific, is a lack of universality. And I think, but I think that particular new generations are becoming more and more aware of that, and aware that they are part of the world, and they are part of the world, and they are reclaiming that world. Well, I think that creatively is pretty much the same. The only difference is that I guess that in Mexico the director is who everybody follows. Everybody's working for the director. In some instances, when you're working in American films, there's no such respect in regards to the director by certain actors. It, being an actor and being a star, they're two completely different things. Stars are stars, and some stars are lousy actors, and some stars are great actors. But there are amazing actors that they are not stars, and sometimes better than the stars. I think that be a star is just a quality. It's an appeal that gets translated also as an economic appeal, and so the way how you can finance your films sometimes is based upon if you get a star to be part of your movie or not. But the discussion there is not so much creative but economic. But there are great actors that are not stars, and there are amazing stars that are great actors also. I respect good directors, but I have a problem giving adjectives to things. I don't like European cinema, and I don't like Hollywood cinema, and I don't like Mexican cinema. I like cinema. And there's good cinema and bad cinema. Hollywood does lousy cinema and makes amazing movies also. The independents, they do lousy cinema and great cinema. In Europe, there's some of the best films come from Europe, and some of the worst also. So I think it's more about filmmakers than about countries or races and genders. And I have a script that I wrote for Universal that I'm waiting to see. It's a big movie, so we're trying to put it together. Looking for the right star to do this, and together with that, I'm doing. I'm considering another project, another big movie, and I'm writing with my brother, who we did Tu Mamá También together, and we're writing. Let's put it this way: the funeral version of Tu Mamá También is everything takes place in a funeral. I don't know if I don't know if it's so unpolitical. Say, well, I've never been in Yugoslavia. I've been in Croatia. I've been in Bosnia. I went to Sarajevo at the end of the war, to the first Sarajevo Film Festival to show A Little Princess, and it was an amazing experience. The city was on siege, and it was the first film that many of these children saw for the first time in 4 and 5 years. And it was a beautiful experience to see that film with all these children. I love film festivals. I think that in a way, my first film went to a film festival, and because of that, my career started. So sometimes some film festivals are more dictated by that they seem more like a congress for shoe salesmen, because everything is about a market. But other film festivals about filmmakers, and it's great. No, it was in Venice. Tu Mamá También was in Venice. Won best. The two boys won best actor, and my brother and we won best screenplay. I enjoy working with my brother a lot. I can work with other people. So what happened in Tu Mamá También is that after 10 years in Hollywood, that I forgot, because you have the best writers available for you, that I forgot that I could write. And with Tu Mamá También, I went back to writing that I enjoy a lot, and I enjoyed that doing with my brother a lot.